All right, let's talk about that dream kitchen. You know, the one you've been picturing in your head? Well, it is a lot closer than you might think. Today, we're going to make it real by tackling the one step that honestly makes or breaks the entire project, getting the measurements right. So let's just dive right in.
Does this sound familiar? You've got the vision, but the whole process just feels huge, maybe even a little intimidating. Hey, you are not alone. That's the most common feeling when you're starting a big project. But stick with me because today we're going to replace all that uncertainty with a clear, actionable plan.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with why this is all so important, then we'll gather our tools and go step by step through measuring your space and everything in it. And then, the fun part, we'll turn all those numbers into a powerful plan. It's way simpler than you might think. I promise. Okay, so first up, why does measuring matter so much? Well, because this single step can be the difference between a project that's smooth and successful and one that's just full of costly mistakes. Getting this right from the very beginning is the key to saving money, time, and a whole lot of frustration. Look, your project can really only go one of two ways, right? On one hand, you've got precise measurements. That means savings, success, and just confidence. But on the other hand, you've got incorrect measurements. And that road leads to extra costs, frustrating delays, and that awful sinking feeling when you realize your brand new fridge doesn't actually fit. Trust me, precision is going to be your best friend through all of this. Now, you might be thinking you need a whole bunch of expensive, complicated equipment for this. But the good news is, you absolutely don't. Let's take a look at the simple, everyday gear you'll need to get started. See? Super simple. A good tape measure, make sure it's at least 25 feet long, that's going to be your main tool. You'll want a level to check if your surfaces are straight, and of course, a pencil and paper to write everything down. Now, if you want to get a little fancy, a laser measure can be handy, but it's totally optional. This is something anybody can do. Just a quick note on units. Here in the US, the whole construction and design world runs on the imperial system. That means we're going to be talking in feet and inches. It's really important to know this so you're speaking the same language as your contractor and the folks at the hardware store. And this is pretty much the only conversion you really need to remember. 12 inches equals 1 foot. Simple as that. Okay, tools in hand. Let's get to work. In this section, we're going to create the basic map of your kitchen. Think of it like the blank canvas for your new design. Let's start with the walls. First, measure the length of each one from corner to corner. Then get the height from floor to ceiling. Now here's a little pro tip. Measure that height in a few different spots. Old houses especially can have some subtle variations. Just sketch a simple bird's eye view of your kitchen and start jotting down these numbers as you go. Next up, windows and doors. Now, measuring the opening itself is just the beginning. What's absolutely essential is their location. How far is the frame from the corner of the wall? How high is it from the floor? Oh, and for doors, always note which way they swing open. You do not want a new cabinet blocking your pantry. This one is huge. Your walls are almost never blank slates. You've got to locate and measure anything that can't be moved or, would be really expensive to move. We're talking pipes, vents, radiators, and yep, every single outlet and light switch. Mark all of these on your sketch. They will absolutely dictate where your new stuff can go. Great, so we've mapped the room. Now it's time to measure the things inside the room. This helps us understand what we're working with, what might get replaced, and how all the new pieces are going to fit together. The process is pretty much the same for each item. For every single cabinet, you're going to measure the width, height, and depth. For countertops, get the length, the width, and the thickness. And be sure to mark where the sink is. And for every appliance, you need those same 3 dimensions, plus where the connections are. The key here is just to be super thorough. Okay, this is where it all comes together. All that careful measuring you did, it's about to transform from just a list of numbers into the single most powerful tool for your renovation, your detailed plan. This is the really exciting part. Right now, you might be looking at your notepad full of measurements and thinking, okay, now what? And that is a great question. The answer is where the real fun begins. Let's turn all that data into a visual blueprint. So you can totally go old school here with some graph paper or, hop on one of the many free design apps out there. The absolute key, though, is drawing everything to scale. So maybe let one little square on the paper equal, say, 6 inches. First, you draw your walls. Then you pop in the locations for your windows, doors, and all those obstacles we found.
And now you get to play. You can start moving around virtual cabinets and appliances and really see what feels right.
And as you're planning, here's a classic design secret to keep in mind: the work triangle. This is just the path between your sink, your stove, and your fridge. Keeping that path clear and efficient, that's the real secret to a kitchen that's not just beautiful, but is also an absolute joy to work in.
Ultimately, your detailed plan is so much more than a drawing. It's your voice. It's the document that communicates your exact vision to contractors and designers. It makes sure everyone is on the same page, so your project gets built exactly the way you imagined it. And just like that, you are no longer overwhelmed. You are empowered. You have the skills and the plan to take total control of your kitchen renovation. So I'll leave you with this thought. With your perfect plan in hand, what's the very first thing you're excited to design? The cabinets? The island? Your journey starts right now.